Today we'll build a boat which can scan the bottom of the sea and then deploy our DIY submarine. We spent 6 months trying to make this actually work, just because we decided to go on a search for an unusual shipwreck. Hello?
Hello? I lost my plane.
A plane?
Yes, it's an old plane from World War II.
Where?
It went into the sea. It's underwater.
Anything else?
Yes, can you please take photos of it?
On it. Peter? We need to build a sonar boat. What's a sonar boat? Let's plan it out. First of all, we'll build a simple boat. We'll need a buoyant hull, a motor, some batteries, and some antennas, because we'll steer it remotely. Now, the mission is to find the plane. We know a rough area, but it's not as simple as swimming around with a camera. See, around where we live, the water is extremely murky. The visibility underwater is, depending on the season, anywhere from 4 meters to 1. That's why we'll need to use a sonar. The specific sonar type we want to use will produce a sort of an image of the bottom and bypass all the murk. That's what I mean by a sonar boat. However, this sonar image won't tell us everything about the plane. It's not that detailed. We need close-up pictures, and usually there would be an additional human diver who swims to the site later. We will make it both faster and easier and try to integrate our 3D printed underwater drone on top of all of that, making it deployable right there on the spot. That's the plan. Let's get started building this thing. We decided to buy a second-hand used hull since it's just faster than making it from scratch and we want to save time for later. It's very simple, it's 2 empty plastic hulls and a metal frame. It's actually made by this company, which builds boats for various survey applications, but not ours. Anyway, this thing needs some refurbishing, since apparently it's very old. In order to make it properly waterproof, we made new end caps for the hulls and bought a splash-proof electronics box for the electronics. Quite a cool one, I must say. It even has these rubber exits for cables. With the hull, we also got these motors.
Let's see how much power this monster has.
And since they don't have a, so to say, reverse gear, they both need to pivot with a servo.
Okay.
So if you want to turn around, you put them all the way to the right and do it like so. That clip is a spoiler. It didn't work that well at the beginning, so we made an upgrade. Now it's much stronger and the steering can work for a long time. The boat also came with these 7S 5P batteries, which can fit inside the hulls nicely. That's the boat part done. Peter went to the port to see if it swims. It does. About 1 meter per second, so unfortunately not that fast because of the stock motors, but it will work nonetheless. Right now, Peter is steering the boat manually via an RC radio, of course. And on that topic, what I didn't mention is that we want the boat to be autonomous. But what do I mean? Our sonar, as you'll learn later, scans up to a certain distance on both sides of the boat. So in order to scan large areas of land, or seabed, we need to move in a pattern. The best one is the simplest one, a snake. We could operate the boat for hours at a time and steer it manually with a controller, but first off, these straights here will need to be extremely straight and parallel to each other, and second, no human can do that. Especially when strong winds blow from changing directions and you need to adjust your heading constantly.
Just swim against the wind all the time. Put on the transmitter on your head. Trust me, it really works.
Instead, we need a computer to do that for us. So, there is software called ArduPilot which can manage all of that. It runs on a Pixel controller board. You can connect it to the motors, a GPS and a radio transmitter. And then, at last, you can connect your computer via another radio,
Like that.
draw out your route with waypoints on a map, and send the route to the boat. There was actually quite a bit of calibration we needed to do, but after a few days we were ready to test it out on a long mission. On a lake. Just before, we sat down to draw something that will simulate our ultimate scanning mission to find the plane on the sea. At the beginning, we swim to the middle of the lake, do a little snake, and then swim to the other spot far away to perform another snake. Then come back home. Back at the lake,
Yeah, let's start the mission.
the mission was just started by a flip of a switch. The first snake went by swimmingly, and now we go north. But even at that distance of 150 meters, we had connection issues with the RC radio, with which we could take over the controls if anything happens.
Szybko traci sygnał, bo to już jest tylko 50 RSSI.
If we didn't want to lose control over this boat, soon enough, we somehow needed to follow the boat. If we did lose signal, it would automatically return to home.
When you lose the remote, you enter the failsafe, right?
We need to go this way and chase after the boat. Where are you?
I see it.
Where? Oh, here, yeah, I can see it. There.
You can go down. There is a path here. I don't think this is the path God wants us to take.
We can go over the fence. We decided to not go over the fence, but at this point we basically lost all the connection with the boat. That's definitely a big problem that we need to fix. So after some deliberation, we let the boat go.
I will disable the stupid failsafe. Let's go.
We really wanted to complete the entire mission, but now it would happen with no control whatsoever. We hurried back to the car and then to the opposite side of the lake, just to try to connect to it again. We couldn't find it at all. No signal yet. It was only when we drove back to this little forest part when I realized what happened. There was no boat on the north side of the lake anymore. I don't know which direction. There? In fact, it was already coming back. Oh, it's already there. It's going back already. We were there. Let's go back.
There! Hello!
Oh, it's there. Right where it's supposed to be. I think we can safely conclude that we have an autonomous boat. Although soon we will need to improve our signal range significantly. That's step 1 done. Now Sonar. As I explained in the beginning, Sonar is practically the best tool you can use for searching stuff underwater, for it uses sound, which travels very well in water, unlike for example the light. The usual sonar display you've seen in Hollywood submarine blockbusters looks like this. It's because historically old sonars had a rotating head that sent sound signals all around and then listened for an echo of the same sound it sent, specifically of the same frequency. Kind of like radar, except radar works in the air, not underwater, and uses radio waves, not sound. But in recent years, active sonar technology has progressed a lot. So much so that now there's new sonar technology called side scan. And today it's used for fishing, and for some reason exclusively by people from the American South, which I would love to call redneck, but I don't know if I'm allowed to. I like to watch Doug, for example.
Stay tuned here as we go through some of the settings to make it easier to help you catch more fish. Okay, the first thing...
Anyway, this sonar sends sound signals in a way that it can print this waterfall diagram. It's not exactly a straightforward picture, because you can see both the area underneath the boat and the sea bottom on both sides. When there's stuff on the bottom, it casts a shadow, like so. When there's fish, they also cast a shadow.
We got weights and fish!
From my research, I learned that even though sidescan is not actually only used by cool guys in cool boats, and there are expensive professional sonars with transducers, the image you can get with those simple Humminbird devices, especially the new G4Ns, is already very comparable. So we bought that. That's the head sonar unit, and that's the transducer with its cable. Here's the thing. I'm convinced that the company that makes Humminbird really dislikes people with autonomous boats, because they make it very hard to make this device wireless, and we'll definitely need that. We want to sit comfortably on the shore, observing what's below the boat on a screen, and at the right moment, drop the submarine. Well, these units don't have any video output. They do, however, have Ethernet output. There are some magicians on the internet who have seemed to decode their proprietary protocols, and they can connect the stream to any other device. We weren't lucky enough to be able to talk to them, but see, there is one built-in feature which we can take advantage of. Don't tell this to Humminbird. You need to buy another Humminbird unit without a transducer. No, I'm not sponsored by them. If you connect them together with their $200 Ethernet cable, the one unit that sits silent will mirror the other one, and you'll be able to fully control one with the other as well. Now bear with me. Instead of connecting them directly, connect each one to a Wi-Fi router, and then put the routers on the same network. Voila! I'm sure this guy is laughing right now, but if you're here, please answer my DMs. So yes, we bought another cheaper sonar unit and integrated it into this case. We connected it to this router and we were successful in mirroring the image wirelessly. Now here's a 3D printed mount for the transducer, which fits nicely in here.
Yes.
And the head unit is mounted above. Now we connect everything.
Wi-Fi router.
And antennas for the router. I agree that it's a bit weird that we have a screen on an unmanned boat, but well, I guess you can just cover it and advertise our beloved Humminbird. Then we went to another lake to test it all out. There's supposed to be a sunken bus somewhere near this dock.
We found a new ocean gate invention, by the way.
We swam out and steered it manually for now. Okay, it's connected. Right away the image seemed to be quite alright. For example, there wasn't any noise from the motors visible, which can sometimes happen if you mount them too close.
There's something.
Oh, there's and also on the right.
Yes.
Honestly, I didn't think much of it at the moment, just because we turned it on literally 20 seconds earlier. And also this is also something. It's 100% not a glitch.
Is it a glitch or?
Nope.
That may be large fish, maybe.
We turned back and looked at it again, from a different direction.
10
Oh,
meters long.
there's something here with a shadow, like a box.
Here,
Okay.
this thing, or is it nothing? Oh, this is a f***ing box.
It's a box.
It's a freaking box.
And it's a long box.
Isn't it the f***ing bus or what?
It's definitely a long box.
Wait. And this, okay, this. Look at this. This is clearly something. Look at the shadow. See the shadow?
Turns out there's a lot more stuff in this diving spot. Here's a map that we found later. All in all, we concluded that we can definitely find the plane we're searching for with this, because we don't expect many other objects around it anyway. The sonar part is done. However, right there, we also realized that we have a bigger problem than deciphering the sonar image.
Supposed to be up. No image.
The waterfall image was stopping now and again because the connection between our routers was really poor, once they were more than about 50 meters apart. We got a friend who started working on this connection issue. We wanted to connect the Sonar stream via a cellular network, which would make our range infinite as long as we're near cell phone towers. However, after setting it up, the speed of the connection was way too low, so we abandoned the cell towers. Next, we got these patch antennas, which are highly directional, and we wanted to send Wi-Fi signal over them. They didn't work at all for some reason. Turns out we know little about antennas. Luckily, right after, we bought these two antennas. After testing them, and almost crashing to a jet ski, they seem to work very well, even to well over 300 meters, which should be enough for the spot where we think the plane is roughly located. These antennas are awesome. And by the way, we also bought a good antenna for the RC radio. That turned out to be a quick fix. All in all, we wasted about a month on this single issue, but finally, crisis was averted. Even more good news. This long-range Wi-Fi connection will also connect the deployable submarine. So let's get to that part, finally. I think by this point we can all agree that although the sonar images are great for finding shipwrecks and other objects underwater, they are usually not enough to properly inspect a shipwreck. For that, we'll need a camera underwater. We are going to attach an underwater drone that we've built in one of our previous videos, the same one we took to the abandoned mineshaft, although now in green, the CPS-5. That way we'll be able to control the drone wirelessly from the shore, while the drone dives several hundred meters away from us, suspended from our boat. Now we don't need to hire any divers or rent any boats. Ideally, since the drone needs to be on a cable, we would attach the drone to a motorized spool sitting on the boat. The spool should be able to release the drone at the right time, when we're above the shipwreck, and then recover it once the mission is done. But because we need to finish this project quickly now, instead of a spool, we're just going to build a system that drops the drone in the water, and then once the drone's mission is done, the boat is just going to slowly drag it back to the shore by pulling at the cable. I call it good enough.
Perfect.
So here is the dropping system we designed. It uses a simple pin and a simple servo to release the drone with a flick of a switch on our RC radio. It works.
Alright.
We also needed to design a special module for the CPS-5 to be able to connect the drone to this dropping system. It attaches to the bottom of the drone to this special spot for a module. Let's check if the drone drops. Now we also wanted to add a GoPro camera to this drone, but we've already used the mounting point at the bottom of the drone. So, since it's easy to modify it, we quickly redesigned the body so that it has another mounting point on the top. After it printed, we just screwed it into place and the drone just gained the functionality of having a GoPro attached to it.
That's weird.
If you're interested in building this fully 3D printed underwater drone yourself, then listen up. Last summer, Jack, who had built the CPS-5 himself, took it on an expedition to explore a flooded cave in the Cantabrian Mountains in Spain. This drone has allowed him and his entire team to reach the depth of 88 meters in the cave. This is the actual footage from the expedition. Although going 88 meters underwater wasn't deep enough to reach the bottom of the cave system, this year he plans to improve his CPS-5 to be able to explore it further. If you would like to do things like that as well, over the past couple of years we've built an extensive DIY course, which now teaches almost 1,000 students how to build this very drone from scratch. Actually, a lot of beginners who have never done anything like this before are building these drones by themselves, and then using them for their own missions. So, after watching this video, go to cpsdrone.com and sign up for a free training. In it we show how to get started with building the CPS-5 underwater drone yourself. The link is in the description. Okay, now we are ready with everything. Let's go find the plane. From the information we've got, it's most likely located in this 300 by 300 meters square, roughly 500 meters from the shore. Earlier in the workshop, we planned this route, which is pretty self-explanatory, a snake. The plan is to look at the sonar image until we see a big object, and then deploy the submarine, take pictures with GoPro, and come back safely. Seems easy enough. We turned everything on, and Peter was already dragging the boat to the water, when suddenly the submarine broke off.
Yeah, it's broken. It's broken.
While designing the dropping system, we haven't taken into consideration the pulling forces when the boat is rotated on the side. Unfortunately, that means that we'll need to print it again and come back here with a tougher version. But since we're here already, we decided to proceed with the sonar mission anyway.
Let's go.
If we find anything, we'll be able to come back to it on the next day.
Alright, go, go, go!
Okay, it's going.
The boat was swiftly underway to the beginning of the snake.
That's a great connection, I love this.
Right away we noticed that the waves created a bit of complication.
No właśnie. But you can see waves here. See this?
I guess so, yeah.
Can you show me the path?
Hello.
When the boat started the snake, surprisingly,
Oh, there is something here. Philip?
we noticed a potentially very interesting shape on the sonar.
Yeah, I don't think that's it, but that's something.
It was definitely very distorted because of the waves. We continued on, looking extremely close at the sonar.
Look, now we have a better range.
After about an hour on the water, we still haven't found any other distinct objects, so after the snake was done, we turned back to that one thing we found.
Here, here.
Like bits and pieces.
I think this must be it. There is no way this is not it.
Because of the waves, it was really hard to make out any distinct features. But either way, we needed to pack up now. We are yet to deploy the drone and see it up close. Overnight, I downloaded a couple of images we got of this object. So, you tell me whether it looks like a plane. Or you'll see shortly. This time we'll go straight to the waypoint we marked on top of that supposed plane. Then we want to circle around that spot in a figure-8 loop.
Perfect mission. Yep.
Right after we set up again, I attached the drone to the new fixed dropping system, and it didn't break this time. This is our tether management. It will unwind gradually when the drone drops. It's 16 meters long.
Okay, go, go, go!
Yep, I'm going.
This time waves were a bit smaller, however the wind was much stronger.
We're swimming into the wind.
So much so that we had trouble getting to the waypoint.
How's it going? Are we going forward?
Look at what angle the boat is swimming at.
Oh, really? Because the wind is coming directly from here, or maybe something from the left.
By the way, I love this command center. I can see everything. I can see sonar here, where the boat is here, the drone here, and the boat in real life when I look up.
At last we arrived at the spot and swam past it to see the object on the sonar one more time.
It's currently like 10 meters from the plane. Whoa!
Whoa! I overlooked this. Okay, we're closer now. Okay. The mission starts now, yeah.
Yeah, now we'll try for waypoint number 3.
But the wind is coming from that direction, so it's drifting.
Yeah, yeah, come on. It's like very strong wind.
The wind was actually affecting the boat so much that we decided to drive this vehicle in tandem.
I think that you should steer the boat and I should steer the drone.
Okay, I mean, I guess we do that. You steer the...
Do I drop the drone?
Yeah, let's drop the drone.
3, 2, 1, down.
and we're off. Wait, I need to steer the boat, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
steer the boat.
can
I
you-
have in auto mode, so now you have a couple of...
I needed to take over the controls and swim directly against the wind in order to try to stay in place. At the same time, Peter was trying to find the object on the bottom, in murky water, mind you.
The water is super murky.
At a certain point, we must have been 16 meters apart, because Peter started to pull me by the tether and I was pulling him.
The drone probably has more thrust than the boat, so...
This proved to be extremely chaotic.
We're like playing tug of war underwater.
Yeah, because we don't know how it works.
But despite that, Peter finally found something, at the depth of only 5 meters.
Yeah, I have something. I'm not sure if that's the plane though.
The water was even more murky than we expected because of this low depth and the waves, but after the fact we got a specialist who explained to us what we saw. This is a propeller with a blade sticking out directly up. When the plane hit the water, the blade was bent backwards like so. This part is the cockpit. The model of the plane is IL-2, the most popular warplane to ever exist, produced during the World War II by the Soviet Union. This is the engine bay right behind the propeller, and on the opposite side you can see that there's no tail. And there's no wings on this thing either. This is what remained of them. Well, I think we can call that mission a success. Our sonar boat can indeed find and inspect a plane wreck. We really hope that during dragging the submarine back to shore, we didn't lose the submarine itself or the GoPro on it.
Yeah! Success!
It's recording.
Don't forget to subscribe and check out our free training on how to get started building this underwater drone. Thanks for watching.
What's a sonar?